and then maybe do some yoga, some meditation.
Okay, awesome. Sorry, man, I got no time for that shit. You're constantly trolling, bro. Like, you're probably a great person and all, but you're constantly trolling. I just don't have time for that right now. I'm on a mission. I need Jews to wake up and see what's going on, and stop going to these fucking rooms and saying you're a fucking atheist. It doesn't make sense to me.
How are you gonna turn it into positive vibration?
Stop giving them fucking ammo. You're constantly giving them ammo. And then they come in, or they would go into the room with them, and they don't want to answer a question. And they're like, no, don't play his game. Don't play his game. Don't answer his question. And they're like, let me ask you a question. So you don't want to play it because you call it a game, but you want me to answer your question. So you want me to engage in a game with you when all I'm doing is asking you a question with no hidden agenda behind it. But that's the problem. You're too busy in your mind always playing a fucking game. To you, this is a game. For me, this is reality in life. It's not a game. This is serious.
Baby, I'm going to play something very quickly, if that's okay. I just want you to...
Absolutely, bro. You're a mod. This is our room. Play whatever.
Hang on a second. Let's just do this. Second.
So somebody who says, 30,000 civilians, 30,000 people dead is too much for even though it's an existential threat to Israel. So that means that they want a much more violent world.
There's a lot of talk about how Israel has conducted the war, which you've argued really you think is unfair. Make the case that as you see it for how Israel is conducting the war in Gaza as far as you see it.
Sure, and I've been twice. So I've been on the ground in Gaza to include Khan Yunis since the war has begun. So both from what I've observed in the field, watching the IDF, plus over a decade of studying this type of combat, the IDF nobody's acknowledged that the IDF are actually doing this with the least amount of civilian care in the history of war in the context of these type of operations. And listened to international condemnation since the beginning of the war and did it differently from the way they started the war. So how they operated in northern Gaza versus how they operated in central Gaza were vastly different. Some of that's based on the enemy, but they cut civilian casualties by a half and then by 2/3 to where now it's at an abnormally low for even combat in general.
How did they change it? To explain that to you, how do you think they shifted that approach?
Well, a lot of it was in the targeting process. So the rockets were raining down, so they had to target rocket locations. The fight was a lot closer. They evacuated the cities versus doing very smaller operations. So they reduced the number of forces. They started with 4 divisions. Now they're down to 2 divisions. They also started with handing out their maps and doing localized evacuations. So instead of the entire northern Gaza being evacuated, when they went into Khan Yunis, they were only evacuating like a 3 or 4 block area and tracking the civilian population and really telegraphing their locations even more than they were in northern Gaza, which makes the battle go slower. It makes it go very block by block, house by house. They even did operations where they surprised 250,000 civilians in the middle of the night and then surrounded that area and then told them to evacuate and used facial recognition to pick up the Hamas members who have been this whole time just moving when the civilians get evacuated, just move with the civilians in the combat areas.
Hang on a second. Important to note here as well is the fact that, again, the guy that you heard speaking is Colonel John Spencer. He's talking about Hamas operatives who were moving around with the civilian evacuations of areas as the IDF were moving through the Gaza Strip. It's important to note as well that Yahya Sinwar at one point moved out of Rafah, or we call it Rafiah in Israel. It moved out of Rafiah with evacuated civilians. He was dressed as a woman, and he moved north with the civilians. It just goes to show you as well that and John Spencer speaks for another 13 minutes on this. Hamas from day one used civilians as cover. They continue to use civilians as cover. They don't have any regard for any civilian in the Gaza Strip. They don't care if babies die. They don't care if 13-year-olds die. They don't care if 80-year-olds die, because at the end of the day, it suits their narrative. And their narrative all along has been, Yahya Sinwar said it himself, the more civilians that die in this war, the better it is on the international stage for Hamas. They will gain more support through civilian death. So continue firing rockets from buildings that are occupied by civilians. Continue firing rockets from inside hospitals. Continue firing RPGs from UNRWA schools and education centers in the Gaza Strip, because that's how we're going to get more civilian deaths, and they don't care. Those are the facts. And the sad reality is that so many of these spaces on X, Twitter, and in Clubhouse do nothing but falsify truths. They spread manipulation and lies, which again has completely served Hamas's purpose of this war, which started prior to October 6th. And October 7th. And, the more that people think about this is true. The war did start before this. And the reason it started before this is because all these organizations throughout the world that are in alignment with Hamas, through organizations in America like CARE, they knew what was coming. They knew what was going to happen, and they were all ready for it. How could it be that these signs and these demonstrations, literally hours after October 7th happened, hours, and I'm talking an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, these people were out in the streets and with these signs prepared? How? Anyway.
If everybody can just invite people to the room so we get the real party started. That was just a little taster, test. Hamas admits 72% of deaths are combat-aged men. This goes against their whole narrative and all these people that are holding these Jew hate rooms that 80% of the people that have died are children. Which is bullshit. It's a lie. It's to get Jews riled up, to get Jews yelling and screaming. Because that's what's going to keep their room going. It's like the gas tank that they're running off of is fueled by Jews. If you don't have Jews in there, they got no gas. They got no steam left. They just talk. Could you imagine what these idiots talk about when they're by themselves? They start changing their voices, pretending they're gay, and not that I have anything against gay people, but they got nothing constructive to talk about. A Jew comes in, they're like, oh, hold up. Let me ask you a question. Then you answer it, they're like, wait. And then you ask them a question. I'm not playing your game. And you can ask a direct question. It's a yes or no. And they won't answer it. There's always a but. Yeah, but let me explain my answer. But. Could you imagine in fucking school or university, you're to give an answer and you're like, yeah, but before I give you the yes or no, I gotta give a thesis on fucking 20 minutes on why, but I won't ever answer yes or no. It's the height of brains these people have. It's an echo chamber. It's just a diluted, polluted, like, cesspool of hate. It's not diluted. It's actually concentrated with hate. These rooms that it's so concentrated that they can't see the truth. It's beyond seeing the fucking truth at this point. Doesn't matter what you show them. It doesn't matter what you present to them. It doesn't matter if you brought in a fucking live GoPro camera into Gaza, how they say it, into pride shirt on and you're being thrown off a building, they would say it had something to do with something else. It doesn't matter what evidence you bring them. It will never, ever change their thinking or the way they look at it. Jews are always the problem. My new thing is, I'm not a Zionist, I'm a Jew, and Israel is my homeland. So what are you telling me?
That's the sound of the police. They kicked me. They kicked me. Welcome, Ilham.
Who kicked you?
BB kicked me.
Bibi who? Bibi Netanyahu?
It's okay. If they kick you from one, you just go to the next.
Well, I feel the people who open the room hate the Jewish people. They don't care about Palestinians. They don't know where it's going. Sammy, we don't care. Okay, meet your mic.
Hey, guys are being a little mean.
Oh, shit happens. It's America.
Hackles.
Is this Melissa or Mawisha? Mawisha?
What are you?
Exactly. Who are you?
You got you some bad.
I'm snack Zionist of Saturday beanies.
Did you ever talk with a Palestinian? Did you ever talk with Arab? Did you ever talk with a Muslim Arab?
I'm unaware of such a thing as a fake Jew, but that's a good point. Is there a fake Arab? I mean, what is a fake Jew? It doesn't even make sense.
Well, they said there's a fake Arab as well, so.
Well, there's a reason why there's called Jewish, not Jew. Yeah, Jewish is the
Jewish was from Israel.
The noun is Jew, the adjective Jewish. The noun is Spain, the adjective is Spanish. The noun is France, the adjective is French. The noun is England, the adjective
Jew?
The noun is England, the adjective is
Where's
English.
you off of the stack, bro? That's not your land where you're at.
Okay.
And it's not called Jew either.
The name of the land is Israel. The name of the people is the Jews from Judea. The name of the area is
ceremony.
it's Judea, Jews, Jew.
No, I
English.
see you're avoiding that question. Why are you avoiding it?
Which question?
The red heifer ceremony. Tell
Okay,
me
now you want to move on to the red heifer?
afterward.
Okay.
That's what
That's what the conversation is, though.
Okay, so we got comes after the red heifer. What's the next question?
No, that's the question.
Messiah.
That's where it's going.
Mashiach, no!
After the red heifer.
We don't have to wait. Mashiach, no!
Now hold the crazy
So retarded. I swear. So who is your Messiah? Normal. Who is your Messiah?
Eric, I'm back.
Well, they haven't come yet.
All right, so relax. Everybody relax for a little bit. I got like 3 texts saying that my room is being derailed and why am I letting people get my room banned? So I don't know what the hell y'all got going on, but I'm back now. I was busy. So everybody get themselves together, okay? I got 3 texts. So I don't know what it was. They just, sending me shit. I don't know what it is. But whatever it's going on, I'm here. So
When in charge, take charge. Mashiach, no!
All right, everybody relax. Just relax.
Well, let's be honest though. He does what he does, but he's a monster too. He can kill anybody. You know what I'm saying? If need be, I'd say just how it ended. With his own son killing him. Spoiler alert. But still, they could have did something better. I mean, him killing the police officer. That was.
But Yabia, you're like the new honey badger. You always talking in this room now. You a #1 speaker in the clown house.
Man,
block him. Yo, did you hear the crash out?
God damn.
You heard the crash out? Did you guys?
You're playing something, but I'm sorry, bro. Your balls are falling down. You gotta probably clean them up.
No.
Let's go see a plastic surgeon. I'm sorry, bro.
Sugar belly.
I didn't realize the abuse from her was that bad. I wouldn't have went, that deep. I didn't know he was abusing her that bad. That was something else, bro. That's
This is unbecoming of you, Bart. This is unbecoming of you. Like, you're actually not doing yourself any.
No, I mean, listen. You know how you Muslim guys roll, so I you know how abusive you guys are. This poor girl was going through this shit, and you guys are making fun of her about it. You're not being.
Who was being abused?
This poor girl, Melissa.
Okay,
Melissa
bro.
is not getting abused. Stop it.
Yo, did you hear?
Oh my God. How next that time?
I'm fucking warning
Oh my
you.
God.
Stop fucking with her.
Hi,
Stop
Jimmy.
That was a
I
cry.
love you. I miss you. I'm so glad I passed by my phone right now.
That's a cry for help, yo.
Come on,
I'm here for
Charlie.
her. You guys are making fun of her.
Yo,
Don't get jealous. She-Wolf.
Oh, speak of the devil. Look at Jimmy.
What's up, Tali?
Welcome back, Jimmy. Yo, she was the one who told me she was the one leaving.
What's good, Jimmy?
I hope you learned your lesson, Jimmy.
Hi.
I told her I would leave her alone. She didn't want me to leave me alone.
You gonna
Stop
suck
with
my
me.
dick.
I'm not.
She hasn't even fucking talking to you.
You pissed
There's
off.
been
Huh?
like
What's going
Don't
on?
never do it. Don't never
so
do
many
it.
conversations where I was.
Because I want to find someone to do it to you.
I missed your presence.
Hey,
I'm
yo,
so happy.
Hey, always
That's wild, man. That's wild.
you sound like he got a roller.
What he said? He said, "Hey, suck my dick."
What kind of gay shit that is, bro?
You start
Hey,
And you said you gonna go find somebody to do it.
This nigga said I'll find somebody. Like, god damn, it's a threat.
He said it's a promise.
This nigga threatened me just now, dog.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah.
The guy in your PTR, is he also an archive?
No, that's a house snake girl. This is
They're going to lose their homes. They're not going to be able to maintain, the homes that they got. For the person who has like 50, 100,000 in his pocket, those people will profit. So, rich people are going to get richer. Poor people are going to get more poor. So, he's right and he's wrong.
Yeah, they're widening that
I
gap.
appreciate that answer. Yeah, I appreciate that answer.
Yeah, they gotta grow that gap. They need enough space between the rich and the poor. And honestly, they need more to be on their side, being rich. But then money brings power.
Inmate, you there? Probably in jail.
one mic.
See, I like to argue and banter. That's why it's so quiet now.
Hello, super moderators. I would like to address the title of your room.
Oh, go ahead, comedian. I think that was, go ahead, comedian.
Yeah, America voted for Trump, and guess what? We dodged a bullet, because Kamala Harris and pedo Tim Walz would have brought us into the lowest pit of hell this country had ever been in. Thank God we have Donald Trump and his wizard warlord, Elon Musk, to fight back against the fraud, the waste, the abuse, the scams. Stacey Abrams, $2 billion for her nonprofit. Holy shit, somebody call the sheriff and arrest that criminal bitch. She fucking scamming. She ruining the taxpayers. We $40 trillion in debt. $40 trillion. Say it with me now. $40 trillion. That's a 20-year generational gap. It's going to take forever to pay it back. So fuck it. Let's just file bankruptcy and go to war with China. I am complete. Fuck it.
Yo, you know, it's one thing we gotta stop doing. I don't fuck with the people on the left, the Democrats at all. But it's one thing I'm starting to notice when it comes to black Democrats, and you know, you have every right to criticize them, but I've always noticed the extra vitriol towards them, calling them bitches, calling them, you know, this and that. And when the white Democrats do just as much egregious shit, you just call them out a name. You're gonna say Nancy Pelosi, not
That's not true, dog. You giving me your opinion. I use cracker all the time.
I'm not talking about you personally, but I do notice that, like, when it comes to these black politicians, people use they just go extra hard on them.
No one is above suspicion.
When you say people, are you meaning black people or?
Both black people and white people.
The point is these lawyers are the devils in society. Multi-billion-dollar law firms fucking the taxpayers over, doing oppositional research, using spies, fake dossiers, and creating scams. No, they're breaking the law. They ain't fixing the law. They breaking the law. They ain't abiding by the law. All they do is break the law. And look what we got now. We got problems, wars. We've been in Ukraine, Russia, almost fucking World War III. We're still there. It's not stopping.
For the person who has like
I honestly believe that what we have to do is stop spending. And that means recalling all the troops, all the aircraft carriers, tanks, and B-1 bombers, and nuclear weapons, and biological weapons of mass destruction that we have stashed all over the world in advance for World War III. I believe that every American should be issued a pocket constitution and a 38 snub-nosed revolver with plenty of ammunition, and we stop the spending. Let us exercise our rights in our God-given Constitution and Declaration of Independence. God bless America, God bless Donald Trump, and God bless Elon Musk. Doge forever. Doge all the douches. Doge them now. I hope you don't think this is racist, but Stacey Abrams has definitely got to be douged extra hard.
$100,000 in his pocket, those people will profit. So
like to also address the new title of your room. Why are black people racist and colorist? It's because they're political. There's no other explanation. It's called racial identity politics. It ain't about God. It ain't about the law. It's about power, political power. And what does that mean? Free shit. Because we create money out of thin air. That's the truth of the earth. I know math. And so the point is, if you're going to come on this app and waste the rest of your life talking about racial identity politics and not God, you don't understand politics. You don't even realize that the power of God will get you the political power that you want, not your racial identity politics. You know that's played out. You know that Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, they on their deathbeds. That political movement is over because it's a scam. They enrich themselves. Big multi-hundreds of millions of dollars living in Upper West Side of Manhattan in $1 million condo. Wow. So in closing, my fellow Americans, let us all be joyful and put a smile on our face and make our best effort at making America great again. Let us doge the douches, and let us liberate America from these Democrat traitors and domestic terrorists, liars and fraudsters stealing all the taxpayer dollars, shipping it to Uganda for transgenerational climate change. I am complete. And I hope you all have an excellent day, and God bless, and may God make America prosper and make America great again. In Donald Trump and Elon Musk, I trust. I am complete. Please stop muting me, whoever is muting me, and God bless you too, whoever is muting me. Please subscribe to the channel and help make this comedian grow. Also, if anyone is interested, I have some amazing essential oils for sale at 25.
Hey, Ladybug.
Hey, Carrie. Is it Carrie? Thank you for inviting me to the stage. I didn't really plan on speaking. I like to listen before I speak these days on these clubhouse streets. How you guys doing? What's going on?
Not somebody updated the title. I'm crying.
Well, I have an answer.
Hello. Hey.
Hey, Moss.
How are you?
I have an answer before it changes. Oh, I'm good. How you?
Good. I like the topic. It says, are black people racist and colorist? I feel like black people are the cool.
Well, you said, did you say cause, like C-A-U-S-E?
Coolest.
That's so nice of you.
Coolish. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's nice. Nice is cool.
I am Mongolian, but I grew up in Russia, but I live in Canada. So whenever I have classmates from Jamaica or from Kenya, they're all the coolest people.
Okay. Should I answer the title, or are we going to continue to cap?
You answer the title.
Yeah, okay. Black people are both. We're both. I know that's not an answer nobody wants to hear. Even I don't even like that fucking truth. But the way we color is to ourselves, it's both. If anybody wants to argue the nuances, have at it. I'm not here to talk of nuance. Nuance is for people who don't understand, okay? Or both. And then I'll mute up and shut the fuck up and people can go at it and debate it or whatever. But that's the truth of the matter.
Of course, I agree with you. It's a board. Because you know what? I grew up in Russia, and they're discriminated based on my look. Like I look Chinese, but I'm a Goan, right? So what I wanted to say is that black people inside they're racist too, and they're colonists, and they're inside being discriminated to each other.
Nobody wants to be honest. Can we change the title? Everyone capitalists all the fucking time. I agree with what? I was busy chatting in the chat. Agreeing with Ross. What were you saying?
Alright, let's get started tonight in here.
That title is crazy.
What title?
That title, Are Black People Racist or Colorist?
It is a crazy title, and nobody wants to
Who wants to talk about this?
Nobody wants to get got.
Hear me?
We can change the title.
I don't know. What was that?
I don't know.
I'm gonna change it.
We can change it. We can keep it light so nobody gets doxxed. Nobody wants to ruin their life today. Let's change it.
Any ideas?
So,
what's the title, guys?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant. Oh, my bad. I thought it was. I love Tiana. My bad.
How did we get here? I'm crying.
I don't know. There was like this commercial break thing going on. Somebody was like called comedian and was going running the mouth for like, I don't know, 5, 10. I came back. I left and came back to my phone. They were going on for a while, so I don't know.
Guys, can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Yes, Laz. You ready for the next title? Do you have any ideas of what you would like to hear?
Guys,
a nice title?
Guys, let's talk about Bible.
Sure. Let me mute up and go to the audience. Thank you for having me.
Oh, what was that?
No, you were going out. No, please, go on. I'm scaring people. I will go. Thank you so much for inviting me. I will go. Thank you.
Oh, y'all keep changing the title.
I thought we were talking about our colorist experience.
Guys, I was watching it.
That's what the title said. Are Black people colorists, racist, and colorists?
Guys, I was watching O.J. Simpson case, and I was analyzing.
I believe so. You know what I'm saying? I in my life, by brown-skinned black women and dark-skinned black women have been called yellow belly. I've been called light bright. You know, I've been told I'm acting light-skinned.
You know what? You're not
It's a whole bunch of things that a whole bunch of colorism that I've definitely experienced based off the hue of my skin tone. I think that it's actually very, 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 very counterproductive to progressing our community forward.
So just a quick question there, Cutler. When they called you a yellow belly, was that because you were being cowardly?
No.
I'm gonna tell you. I've heard a great litany of light skinisms. Okay, a great litany of light skinisms.
They kicked me. They kicked me.
I believe so.
Oh, that's so funny.
Fuck Anthony Edwards.
Her mama. Listen, I hope the best for the kid, but her mama deserves a freaking rot too. Her mama's trash.
But Finley, women are inferior to us, bro.
We're the ones that.
In some regards.
Take it away.
Well, he's right. A woman is inferior in terms of playing the post position. I would say I'm not gonna find too many good women. Well, maybe shooting guards. They're good at that. I think we chose.
No, every aspect of basketball.
Forwards. There's no way forwards are lined up.
WNBA is not a great product, bro. If you put the best WNBA team,
it's getting
if you put the best WNBA team against the best high school championship team in the country, they're gonna blow them out.
But the WNBA product is getting there. The ratings are up.
No, I'm basing on the fucking NBA. NBA is the least talented it's ever been.
Yeah, let me
the least talented that has ever been. Of course, someone like Mr. Finley,
so like I was saying,
gonna try to tell you the old school
Give me my badge, fam. Give me a badge. So I can move this
fuck you. Nigga, you sat up here and cut me the fuck off. It's all good.
I was talking. You cut me off.
Shut the fuck up and go fly a plane, nigga.
You shut up. Go box the homeless people. Anyway, like I was saying, the WNBA ratings are up. They just got a giant TV deal. There's got a giant TV deal worth a few billies. And they're in a similar place at year 27 that the NBA was at year 27.
So, real quick, Mr. Finley, that's silly.
The WNBA.
You're talking about the WNBA. No, here's a funny thing, right? Louis, you know what's so funny about this cat? He doesn't bring up that the NBA or the WNBA was losing, even with Caitlin Clark, they were losing revenue.
I'm aware
and the NBA was complaining about that shit. So if that's the case, and look, you're talking about
not complaining about
27 years in comparison to 27 years in the NBA. No, that's not. Whenever you go to 20 years and you still are not producing, there's a problem there, bro. Now, as far as the talent level, if you're talking about the actual talent level, it's closer than it's ever been to the NBA. And,
I'm not comparing it to the NBA.
Well, I'm just saying, because, that's the equivalent that you... No. Okay, then why would you... Then what's your point?
Bro, if you were listening
I listened to what you were saying,
hey, didn't.
But you went into a whole different direction.
No, just like in the last conversation we had, Ray, and while I'm not going to sit here and argue back and forth with you, you have a comprehension problem.
Here we go.
You don't listen. Number one, you don't listen. Number two, you don't comprehend.
Listen, monkey.
It's like arguing my dog with a tree in my hand. He's not gonna get argued.
Shut the fuck up, nigga. Well, yeah, like I said, Mr. Finley.
What's up?
Like I said, they've been losing money, and you cannot fucking can't refute that shit, clown nigga.
Learn to write your name. Learn to write your name in cursive. Then.
I know you don't know. I know you never took hook-on phonics when you was a kid. I know you're illiterate. You dig what I'm saying? But I can write cursive all.
I couldn't tell whose voice that was, but I want to throw out there, and then I'll hand it to whoever that was. This to me is an example of the miss of gender.
So subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. Hit that subscribe button right now. This is a podcast. I'm going to leave my office here in a minute. I'm going to leave you with a collection of low IQ dumb people who waste all their time and talk about nothing all day long. I hope you guys enjoy. MAGA, MAGA, MAGA.
Just a simple question.
It's called chillism. It's a brain rot room on Clown House.
How does that work?
Enjoy,
What do
everybody.
you want to talk to me about?
Be sure to subscribe and buy me a cup of coffee so I can continue bringing you amazing Republican comedy.
You're free to ISO anybody but Ray. That is an unfair mismatch.
You know how like
Ray has no wits.
Mr. Finley, you are fucking illiterate and you're retarded. Don't ever mention my name.
Yo, Louis.
Okay, so if it's like a one-on-one, if you're in queue or something,
I'm sorry,
and you want to sort of do a deep dive into whatever the person asserted, that's just like, hey, can I get an ISO with this person on that point? If it's like oh, I'm trying to schedule a crash out, it's always going to be secondary to a conversation that's happening.
No, the reason why I asked was because similar to like what just happened with Melissa and Barb, it kind of just happened and it was elongated. If I wanted to get it in with someone like that,
You said it was elongated?
no.
She wants to get it in.
This mind is going.
She wants to get it in with someone that's elongated. That's what she said. I just heard. I'm just listening.
But anyway, yeah. So, like I said, I want to be able to get the floor and do that. If
I think we're still doing mutual consent, right, Nathan? And silence.
That is true.
So did Barb consent to being jumped?
Yeah.
You weren't here.
Yo, Louis, what's the Philly national anthem?
Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill.
The block is hot by the.
No, I think that's Louisiana.
Now it's slow.
Nah, Guelph is probably right.
What's the New York? What's the New York national anthem?
Because like so.
New
in my concrete voice, right? So yesterday, right? I don't know if necessarily Jimmy consented to me wanting to ISO with him, right? Because I mean Nathan put on his cape and did what Nathan does often.
Right. LA national anthem is "This Is How We Do It," Montel Jordan. Sorry.
Oh no!
But then Melissa was able to, spend about an hour and a half,
Except the gangbangers didn't forget about the drive.
This is how we do it.
I'm sorry, Guava. It was supposed to keep it going. I just wanted to say LA's national anthem, and they had to.
Well, you don't believe that,
But she whooped.
Blow the whistle.
But she whooped. The gangbangers didn't forget about the drive-by though. That's the whole problem.
You don't know shit about gangbanging, bitch.
Oh, you know what? Summertime. Wouldn't that be the Philly national anthem? Summertime.
That would be the Philly. That's a good one.
It's not. No, it's not.
And I feel alright.
What about
Y'all heard Guava trying to make a point, and then you got Guava in the conversation like, no.
And you're stepping on me.
Bullshit.
Don, your mic sucks. And your timing sucks, so it's hard to hear you.
Don, you got to touch the talk.
I don't think she has to land. And then I'm just gonna hit this. Okay, so you go on.
That's the Bay Area national anthem.
Oh, freak.
The New York national anthem.
Because of I guess my past in chillism and all of that, and my relationship with some of the moderators, I think my social currency has diminished in this room, which is why when I bring things up, it kind of gets overlooked. So it's okay.
Yeah, that's what happened when you leave. You can't come back at the door after you say, "I'm never coming back here no more," and then come back like, "I was just playing."
I never thought I was a part of it.
We're on.
They were allowed to have this hour and a half crash out.
Come on, man. We're doing a better topic. Come on. You're dumb.
Shut your goddamn.
Fucking man. You're talking about how long you get to fight people? Why don't we come up with national anthems? You fucking, come on.
No, you know what? So you're saying that.
How long can I fight somebody if I want to like crash out and be really autistic? Is it 1 hour good enough or 2 hours?
When other people crash out, y'all don't say nothing. That's a fucking idea.
Just boring. Clown ass coon. Concrete is a clown ass coon.
Concrete is bullying.
Anyway, whatever. I'm sorry I have the opinion that this is a boring topic, and I think everybody is like indicating it. But go ahead, continue to talk about how long you can yell at people.
But wait, why would crash on? I want to crash.
I want to crash out like Melissa. Yeah, and go Ray. I want to bully tap for Guava. I ain't got no beef with my dogs. I want to
Guava. Don't you want to fight? I just want to rock. That's kind of a lot of the little niggas, the YNs in Philly, like they rocking with that with Uzi and shit. They don't even fuck with Meek.
The anthem is timeless, though, boy. It gotta transcend the YNs,
you're
the
right.
whites, everybody.
Yeah, you're right.
That'll be summertime.
Yeah, drink
Can I share the New York anthem?
Yeah, and then I'll say my thing.
Yeah, I
New York anthem. We have a few. Pretty
why
much.
y'all being rude to Dawn?
I have a Pennsylvania anthem.
Yep.
I don't know what little trash can Nathan is rifling through right now. Little trash panda.
Man.
That's okay. That's all right.
Going to.
Do you?
It was gonna be Abdiel and then Don and then.
Ali, what's the Georgia anthem?
After Dawn, please.
Excuse me?
I'll go after Dawn. Dawn, go before me.
I would think so, right? But maybe Georgia would think differently. I don't know.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
I would think.
Georgia?
But okay, I think what do we do? Intelligible, please.
Oh,
No.
That's a
No.
classic. That's a
No. That is not the fucking vibe.
Gotta be for the whole state.
Song.
Maybe that's for the city. Or for the state.
Tally's a coon. So she don't like.
You're such a little shit. Jermaine Dupri's
Ray Charles is black. He might not know that, but he is.
I'm starting to see spaceships in Bankhead.
I think that's fucking annoying, dog. Every time.
Yo, Ray, I apologize, bro. I don't know what the fuck your bitch ass, hoe ass, puss ass problem is. Trying to have a conversation, bro.
It's possible.
Sorry that bothers you.
Your voice is
Don't want to talk about people talking about people.
baby.
That's some low level ass shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I apologize.
I think that what we're experiencing is a heckler's revolt, and concrete is
I'm starting to see
yes,
spaceships
I
in
agree. Puss ass
Bankhead.
is funny as fuck to me. It's funny to me too. Okay.
I think
Guys, it's off my face. My God, let me get it together.
Sweet Caroline. The Sweet Caroline. That's
Philly?
That's Boston. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They need one for the state,
It's
though.
actually all
Massachusetts.
of New England. It's all just one hunk of a piece of shit land. That was for Tim.
Alright, we gotta give at least 30 to an hour for the women because they feel like they're
Louisiana is gonna be back that ass up. Girl, you look good. Why don't you back that ass up? That works for the whole state.
Some ass, yeah.
Who else is out there?
Been a 99 to the 2000s.
Cleveland. Yeah.
I would have 100%.
Concrete, the better one for Louisiana would be you understand.
Women in the room.
You understand?
Going out at work.
Yeah.
Juvie.
I'm really sorry.
You understand? That's off the G code?
Wait, what do y'all think
Or
about
400
the
you understand? I'm a rapper, but I'm so cool. Oh, yeah.
Well, I did have a question about Lil Uzi Vert.
Wow, look at that. Niggas is interested in this topic. Oh, wow, look at that.
The Miami anthem is Doodoo Brown.
I think that belongs to all the blacks. Okay, what is the reception like for him among the youth? Like, is it okay to be alt No, if you're not, he stepped outside of the.
Yeah, that kind of like Lil Uzi Cardi wave where you like, you kind of are gender benders, so you could like be androgynous, like all that sort of stuff. A lot of the young niggas in the streets, they don't really fuck with it. They'll like disavow that, but like they fuck with the music.
Say they turn a blind eye to the machisms.
Yeah.
Also, they're not like
machimanism.
mimicking his style of dress and sort of emulating that aesthetic.
Sure. Philly still is one that aesthetic. Like the Rick Owens.
Yeah, Rick.
Amiri.
Just like being avant-garde, the avant-garde artist who like is like willing to take fashion risk and everything. But Uzi started off like with some bangers. Like he didn't the most he did was dye his hair purple, but like he was still like into fashion. It's just like those fashion choices got a little more like out there.
Yo, that album is a classic. What is it called? Love, Hate?
Yeah, Love is Rage.
Love is Rage. Yeah. Yo, that's one of my favorite albums ever. That shit is piece of
art, bro. We got a lot of our artists in Philly, they get bigger than life and they don't get necessarily like in tune with Philly, quote unquote. Like Lil Uzi, even though he's from Philly, and he still got ties. Like he's still be in West Philly, like on 56 and Lansdowne. Like he still got ties, but he's so larger than life that like, yeah, he's part of Philly, but he ain't in Philly, if that makes sense.
He shouldn't be. I'm trying to leave Philly.
Love is Rage too. That's the one I'm talking about. With the off-white cover design on the cover.
I'm thinking the one with like the little cartoon.
Nah, the second album. That's
okay. I see what you mean. Yeah.
But he got more respect than Meek Mill though. Meek Mill ain't really that respected in the street.
He's remedial. He's retarded. That's
Diddy has tarnished Meek Mill's legacy, his like street credibility. I honestly he did it himself.
Nah,
how long have you been in Philly?
What you mean? I've lived a bunch of
always
places.
lived in Philly?
Yeah, born and raised in Philly till I was 14. My mom passed. My dad came through because he was working overseas, so he forced he kind of like finessed to get himself posted to New York so he could like come and stay in the States with us. So, and then lived in New York for about 7 years. My father retired. He ended up getting a place in Delaware, so I lived in Delaware for a little bit, and I was just like, I'm coming back to Philly. Yeah. So it's been like on and off, but like I've lived in Philly more than I've lived anywhere else in my life.
Yeah, but you're from Delaware now. That I know that.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about moving to Delaware, bro. It's not a bad place to live, especially if you want to get away from the fuckery. Yeah, if you want to get away from the fuckery of Philly, Delaware's not a bad spot. So
you got a fuckery over there?
Got a brother over there.
I will say respectfully,
I got a good question.
I am the most Philly in this room. I'm 100%. So
I got a good question. When is the funeral?
What was that?
What? When is the funeral?
It's true, Louis.
Well,
I realized Guava was more Philly than you when you said you missed New York City.
You missed the floor yet?
And you missed New York. Guava was more Philly than you. I don't think
New York is a cool city. New York is
Y'all called the coroner?
Louis, you gotta get the cause of death first. Look, because if it's contentious, then we gotta. Anyway, Louis, when you were growing up, did you ever have any like cultural clashes where you want to do like Philly things? I'm gonna play outside basketball, blah blah. And your dad is like, "Why you want to play basketball?" Oh no, that's why don't you play soccer? No, that's Haitian. I can't. You know what I mean? That ever happened?
No, my dad.
Y'all called Detective Benson yet?
My dad is like, it's like a strange mix of bit ultra strictness, but like if he sees that I am investing in something and I'm doing it now.
Who are exhausted by its efforts have created a lot of interest in Elon Musk's future, which I don't think is any especially clearer today than it was yesterday, except that there does seem to be a focus on the fact that his work can and should and perhaps politically must end sometime in the not too distant future, perhaps just in these next few weeks between now and the end of May.
All right, Garrett, if you have anything else that might be a little clearer, which is always a question in this administration.
Chris, the only thing I can add that's clear is the White House, I can tell you, has just come out to basically deny the substance of this reporting, calling the scoop that undergirds it garbage, and basically saying that even the president and Elon Musk have publicly made this statement. So I think what we're talking about now is a timeline of the next couple of weeks between where we stand at the beginning of April and where this 130-day clock probably runs out at the end of May. There seems to be widespread agreement that by the end of that clock, Elon Musk's role in the federal government will be different. But where we land on that calendar, I think, is still a target of a lot of reporting efforts around Washington.
53 past the hour in an NBC News exclusive to
No, you ain't going to be able to get that till
What up, Joe? I'm just restreaming other rooms here on Clubhouse. There's nothing special here, but you're more than welcome to listen into the Clown House. Jarl.
Nobody likes it more. But I don't get a bad hangover.
Sorry, I've been looking at this poll a lot. Harris, it's called the Harvard Cats Harris poll. And now I've kind of made it a mission to like read it once a month. And it's basically saying that Elon Musk's favorability, and I do believe that this is a more conservative poll, or leans conservative, but Elon Musk approval rating has dropped negative 10 points from last month. So I do think that Trump maybe looks at this stuff and is like, you know what, Elon has got to go. And so Elon Musk's time is expiring. He's not going to fight it because he's unfavorable. Elon did what he wanted to do, which is gut a bunch of these programs, and it looks good for him as far as the optics of it. And so maybe it's time for him to go, and perhaps Trump is going to have a tricky April with the tariffs. But perhaps getting rid of Elon is going to be viewed as favorable in general.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just, I've been saying this from the beginning. Let's, hope for the best and be prepared for the worst. That's all we can do. That's what I think we've been doing since July, to be honest. We didn't know what the outcome was going to be. Definitely, we was disappointed. But at the end of the day, what are we going to do, There's so much we can control.
Yep. These tariffs are gonna really.
They were supposed to start today, right?
I think today after the stock market closes.
Oh, okay. And that's the thing. I'm like, this mother freaker, they talk about, oh, he's a good businessman. He couldn't even run successful businesses. That's why he has multiple bankruptcies. Well, I could deal with one, but you got 6, 7, like, come on. But you want this man to run the country and think that he's gonna run it smoothly or make the right decisions? Come on, get crazy. What's this? Trails. I want to read y'all something.
Sure.
Who's that?
Dr. Goddess.
Oh, okay. Hey, Dr. Goddess.
Hi, Mel. I did hear you, Mel. I was looking at something and I had been speaking. So apparently, this woman. Let me see who she is. It's a Black woman. You could tell that she's into politics. Oh, so she's listed as a media personality out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. Okay, all right. And she does social media. Okay, so she's on here. She's on Twitter, cussing. Not deeply, but cussing Bernie Sanders and John Fetterman out. You hear me? On behalf of all of Black America. So she says to Bernie Sanders and John Fetterman, and she tagged them, "You have proven why Black Americans have the best political instincts. When Black people called you out and rejected you in 2016, you immediately, all caps, played in our faces the day after the general election." All of that is in caps. When you complained of, quote, identity politics, she put January of 16. That's for Bernie, I'm sure. I guess when you have no identity, it's easy to be mad when others are celebrated for theirs. When you wrote that letter to Squirrel Wig McFuckface, along with Elizabeth Warren, offering friendship and whatever, I didn't think I could get more sick. You are a sore loser, and this is for February of 2016, who wants all the admiration. You don't like Black people unless they are willing to follow you blindly and worship the ground you walk on. And even then, they better keep their distance, right? And you are misogynistic AF. So the combo of both makes you sick, unless it's Nina Turner. And even then, LOL. You're a sore loser who hates attention away from you. This is why you con the people of Vermont every election year. But as a Dem, to block out any possible competition in the primary and the general, then to switch to independent. And she wrote 4/16. You ran in 2020 without making any adjustments with your relationships with Black people, except to try to get the young ones because they still haven't learned they're not white. You mostly kept a low profile because everyone was focused on getting Senator Harris out first and being mad at VP Biden for being there. It's amazing. You are a year and 2 months older, had to get a stent, and you showed up with a bandage on your heart from walking through the effing shower door. And they kept asking Biden if he was too old. That is all in caps. I will give you this. You're a lucky fucking bastard and played that shit. You consistently kept shit as white as fucking possible and wondered why when Black people started voting, gasp, they rejected you resoundingly, all caps. When, all caps, President Biden got started, because he kicked your ass, And then Tupe Fiasco's, I don't get that. He was so fucking smart to give you fake responsibilities to keep you busy like a fucking toddler. I almost forgot you existed because Biden knew how to coddle you, and you respected him because he was a white guy, your junior. You didn't take time to make sure your cult of personality supported Hillary Clinton nor VP Harris. You took 0 moments to see the chaos you created, all caps, and how to balance that with the importance of what was going on. Because at the end of every day, you're a rich, white, cishet man, and nothing will happen to you either way. Except the last time Fuckface won, you got richer. Oh shit, so this time, let's go on a tour and just yell into the sky and get people angry to make some more money. For 2 weeks, you've been relishing in white anger with your white allies. And all the social network love for you that makes people say he should run again, despite wanting the, all caps, best president ever to leave because he was, quote, old. And the day that Senator Booker stands up to disrupt shit, you can't support, she put that in all caps. You're supposed to be this big change maker, yet you can't show up. You, all caps, didn't even mention what he was doing. The caucasity. You're almost as bad as Squirrel Wig McFuckface. You prioritize, I don't know who that is, by the way. You prioritize your whiteness because that's comfortable for you. You diss identity politics because you think like a lot of them, and felt almost justified when Chris Murphy, Brian Schatz, and Gavin Newsom started talking that white boy power shit. But guess what, fucker? We, all caps, aren't going anywhere, especially with you leading us. Baby, we are back. Big identity tent and all. If you don't like that, go back to Vermont, Idaho, Iowa, and all those places where people like it. As for the rest of us, we still have some healing to do, and some people have apologies to make, and Black people are still on break, but we're fucking back. So sit down somewhere and take that whack-ass, fake-ass John Fetterman with you. Black people warned everyone, all caps, about how dangerous he was, and white liberals thought he was the second coming of Bernie. So they took their political instincts and fucked up. So much for listening to and voting like Black women, We got something for that ass too. Both Bernie Sanders and John Fetterman should be ashamed of themselves. Until you do right by us, everything you think about is going to crumble. Good luck with that. That's the end of her rant. Everybody else is responding. Shout. So somebody, Bernie Sanders is running on the same issues platform Jesse Jackson ran on 30 years ago when Sanders endorsed him as a Vermont mayor. Tweaked a bit, no reparations, it's not new, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, so people are responding, but yeah, Shanti, she went in.
But what is the value of that? Like, there's truth in what you're saying, but at the same time, like, what does that now accomplish moving forward?
Well, I
don't know. These are questions.
Yeah,
criticism.
Yeah, any question is valid. I mean, look, it's discussion time. So, one, I didn't know that he, I mean, I didn't know that he didn't mention or honor or, do anything in any way to support Cory Booker. I didn't know that. So just the fact that, so honestly, like, the things that she's saying in this Twitter
Who is this person, Dr. Goddess? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, she just I don't know her. She just I looked up her profile. I just saw that she was tagging Bernie Sanders and John Fetterman. So and that she took the time to make this thread.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel now. Hit subscribe now.
Yeah, this what she says, I mean, you know, whatever the positioning is, it's kind of weird. Not to say that she was completely wrong, but to say that, oh, he didn't support Cory Booker. You know, that just happened like yesterday. Like, what is, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Anyway, but besides that, to put John Fetterman and Bernie Sanders in the same sentence is kind of weird at this point, because John Fetterman does not represent anything that Bernie Sanders represents, like, at all. They're like on total opposite sides right now. So I don't know what she's talking about. You know, right or not, I just don't know what she's talking about.
Who's the person, Dr. Goddess? Is it Teaslin? What's her name?
It's Randy White, and I put the link.
So,
no, it's that they both have railed against identity politics. I think that's the point, and that when it's convenient, they will cater to or not criticize. Either because I did see, I'll say, like, when John Fetterman is from my state. And when he started running, when he started to be a candidate, like, black people did come out and say, y'all know that John Fetterman pulled a gun on a black man, right? And so, it was just kind of like, it just gave you pause, because people were saying it like blatantly, like they were like, we don't really want to support him. He's a racist, but at the same time, he was needed, in the race. And like at the time, like his stances about, I'm going to support this, I'm going to support that, they were necessary. So honestly, people just kind of overlooked it. And also his wife, she is white presenting, but she is from Brazil. I'll just say that. So I think people decided to give them a pass. What did they call when you hold your breath and vote? That's what a lot of black folks did.
Oh, so, yeah, that's because they had to, because he was going up against Dr. Oz, remember?
Exactly. Exactly. And then lately, remember, like lately he's been like, remember, he's been in the news lately with sort of Trump supporting-ish rhetoric. And I don't even remember, because he's been a disappointment for a lot of people. So I hear what you're saying about like Bernie and Trump in that capacity. But I think around identity politics and sort of being taking advantage, of just like the moment. That's interesting. And I will say, no. I'm so sorry. You cannot be Bernie Sanders and not be Bernie Sanders that claims that you have the values that you do, and you don't even mention Cory Booker. This is somebody who tweets all the time, does videos all the time, is on the news all the time. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little, that seems a little shady, and I'm gonna look up and see like if other people are really talking about this. I just saw it, and I saw her going off. So I just wanted to read it just for the room was quiet, and I was like, here's some news. But yeah, anyway, go ahead.
This is kind of. If I just may say this, again, like there are a lot of critiques of the ballot that she said, but this is the circular firing squad that these people who supposedly support the issues on the left and Democrats and all that stuff always do. And this is, in my assessment, about likes and follows and being hyperbolic so you can get, more people to stand behind you with your positions. All of that can be true. And I just think I don't know. I just think it's kind of weird, and not to be like super nitpicky, because language is important. When she threw out the cis, white, I'm like, okay, whatever.
Well, what I got out of it is it's like, Democrats need to get on code, right? And time again, we're not on code, right? Bernie has his toe in the Democratic pond. He runs as a Democrat, I believe, but he's an independent, right? And so he picks and chooses when he wants to support Democrats instead of getting on code, right? As the Republicans, Trump has said the craziest shit, and Republicans are always going to back Trump no matter what he does. But Democrats let Joe Biden do something wrong, or he messed up. This and that. And you know what? So neither of them are really on code as far as the Democratic Party, right? The oligarchy tour, she's right to say, oh, you're going to Idaho. You're going to these white, very white places with little to no black presence, purposefully, right? And then you say, oh, his shtick is always like, oh, you're not thinking about the working class. You're not thinking about the working class. The last time I checked, I work, right? He's trying to insinuate that black people are not in the working class. And now finally, because of all the criticism he received, he's finally going to an LA now as far as oligarchy tour. It wasn't a part of it. Now he added it, I guess, because people started giving him pushback and you claim to be for all the people, but are you really for all the white people, right? Because that's what your oligarchy tour is catered to. So since then, he's added LA, which has some black presence, okay, so that's better, but he's still, I get the criticism here, and that's what you do on Twitter, you criticize. So I guess I didn't understand the question that you were trying to say, what is this doing? It's what people do on Clubhouse, it's what people do on Twitter. And not supporting Cory Booker, because I don't see now tweet, nothing, is sort of on code to me, because when have you seen Bernie Sanders support black people? Please send me some links.
All right, so this tweet came from somebody not supporting Cory. Is that what y'all saying?
No. The tweet is a criticism of Bernie Sanders, which part of the criticism was he has this 25-hour speech. Bernie has been radio silent. I looked at his Twitter, nothing. I don't think he said anything.
That's what I'm saying. So, okay, so because he didn't respond to the speech.
Not that I'm aware of. No, not that I'm aware of.
That's what I'm saying. Is that what the tweet is about?
About a few criticisms from Bernie.
Okay.
But that is one of them. Got you.
Yeah, long-standing criticisms that are fair. That are very fair.
Bernie Sanders should have showed up in the chamber at some point and asked a question like the other senators did. That's the way that you support, to give Cory some time to rest. That's how you support. And every time you ask Bernie Sanders about black people, he talks about the fact that he marched with Martin Luther King. He thinks that gives him protection for the rest of his life. I'm so sick of Bernie Sanders.
The woman that she's not saying anything that we have talked about Bernie Sanders in this room extensively. I share my story. I really believed in Bernie, and I supported his left-wing politics. And I was like, yeah, I'm down for revolution. And
this is the comedy. What do you mean? You're listening to the comedians.
A couple of black people.
You're talking about where's the comedy. This is the comedy.
The same conferences together, and we weren't like the best.
You ever met clowns before? Just listen closely.
I had a couple of them on my panel and stuff like that, and so we got to know each other, and I was excited when I found out that they were working on Bernie Sanders' campaign. And when he ran, my mom had just passed away, and they called me and was like, are you willing to move to Vermont? And I was like, yeah. Now, so I was happy to do it. Like, I was excited. Now they didn't end up. They did call me and ask me that, but then they didn't end up actually bringing me on board. But I was like deeply invested, and they kept saying that they would, so that's another thing. But I was deeply invested in the campaign and was like supporting. And then the more and more we talked about strategy, and I was talking to my black friends that were working on the campaign, and full disclosure, one of them said, and you'll understand the importance of this. One of them said, don't worry about it. Like, we got a plan. We're going to, black people don't really know Bernie Sanders like that. So, we have a plan to like really introduce him to the black community because, a lot of his politics, black people talk about, they're aligned with, and so on and so forth. And he had a full HBCU program. No, I'm sorry. The black man, the strategist, had a full HBCU program.
But it's an effective gaslight tool.
And so they started, and the plan was to lay out that program and do it. And so the first stop was Morehouse. And y'all can look this up, So first stop was Morehouse, to introduce Bernie Sanders and so on and so forth. And then there was no other school.
We've got 14 people live on this YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button now. This is Republican Comedy. I'm running for the 16th district here in Illinois for Congress. Vote Kitover, Congressman Kitover. Hit the subscribe button now.
And then he started complaining about Bernie's number 2. And everybody really believed in Bernie. So it was like, well, of course it's Bernie's number 2. And I definitely heard, the word racist, it was just seemed like everybody was making excuses, self-included, for Bernie, like, oh, it's not Bernie, it's just his number 2. It's his campaign manager, making all these decisions. And slowly but surely we saw black people weren't getting hired for his campaign. The HBCU program seemed to start off fine at Morehouse, then it didn't continue, and it just went on and on. And I finally asked, the brother man a question, and I said, well,
I don't think they want turkey, and I don't think they want Egypt.
I hear what you're saying.
I think Thunder Slayer.
You're
delusional.
But, at some point, don't you have to make a decision for your own campaign? Bernie is not like he hasn't been in office. He's run, before. He runs in general, right? Just for re-election in Vermont. I understand Vermont is not like the rest of the United States. So I just started asking him that question, and we were having that conversation. So that campaign ended with deep criticism of Bernie's number 2, still having faith in Bernie Sanders, and kind of seeing what was next. And then right after, and this is where Randy picks up, because right after that campaign, Bernie Sanders started saying, we are too invested in identity politics, and we are leaving behind the white working class. And we're not paying attention to, and we were just sitting there so those of us who kind of knew what was going on the inside of the campaign, we were like, why is he saying this? And when he says identity politics, you know, like, what do you mean by that? You know, we were looking for some nuance because it was like, surely Bernie can't be a racist. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I kid you not. This was and long story short, just as it has unfolded, he turned around and did the same thing, except maybe a little worse. It was just like, as long as he had Cornell and Nina Turner, there was no other investment. It was just like, you know, it was just the same thing. So I concluded, like, you know what, if it looks like a cat, it's a cat, right? Like, no more excuses for
Hit
Bernie
that
Sanders.
subscribe button.
Still
This is
on that
Republicans
bullshit.
Comedy. I'm running for the
And
16th
so,
district here
yeah,
in Illinois for Congress. I
remember,
need your
Dope was on a
support.
rant.
Subscribe
He was just like,
now. This
can't
is
stand Bernie,
Congressman
Bernie's a
Kitover
racist,
telling you,
like I
MAGA!
was just like, it's just so unfortunate.
MAGA, 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 MAGA!
Conclusion about Bernie, like, no, Bernie, it's you. It's definitely you.
It's a Bernie Sanders problem, ladies and gentlemen. He's a flip-flopper.
So, all that's to say,
he didn't hire black people.
I understand. That's why
He's
I read it. I
a racist.
understand her rage because you're supposed to be this, you know, great
Is that Julian?
revolutionary.
That's my man, Julian.
We're saying, like, you're riding, you know, you got all this criticism and you lack support for the
I
Democratic
hope Mon
Party.
Juni's ready
And
for
then
the
every time
firing
you
squad.
wanna run, you want to jump in and run as a Democrat. And then you want, you know, you want everybody to believe you're really, you know, just an independent. And, you know, you don't really get a lot of stuff done in Congress either. So, you know, you're just kind of safe because you're in Vermont. But that's the end of my rant about Bernie Sanders.
Did anybody do research to see what other Democratic senators, I realize Bernie's independent, weren't on the chamber or didn't post about supporting him? Because I would like that as well.
I mean, I
Say it
didn't,
again,
but
Scotty. I didn't hear you. Did someone
Get thrown in any jail, you're lucky if you get seen again. Doesn't matter where you're at.
Made her post it that Sanders didn't show up at the summit or didn't post anything about him, which are valid critiques, not to mention the historical critiques about him that I agree with. Were any other senators, Democratic senators, not in the chamber offering support or support on their social media? And should
Right,
they
did
be
all,
called out
did
as
all
well?
Democrats did all the Democrats show up? That's the problem. Like, Bernie's in the spotlight. Did every one of them show up? Because we're critiquing one, but there's more than one senator that didn't show up, right?
Bernie's like the most visible. Like, he puts himself out there. He's on this oligarchy tour. Like, he's the one saying all these things about Democrats, and so you would sort of at this point expect him to, you know, at least show a minimal tweet of support.
But he's more progressive than most of the. He's far.
no, but you can't compare him to other Democratic senators for all the reasons that Sin just said. I mean, he is
right, and he's gone up against his own party about certain things that he wants in place. Like, he's a socialist, like straight up socialist.
And what Cory Booker did, because Cory Booker, I mean, he said the reason why he did it is because his constituents were asking him and other Democrats to be innovative, to think outside of the box, to do something, you know, that would be different, you know, for Democrats and stuff like that. So that's why he did it.
I'm not a Bernie fan at all. But I mean, I didn't expect him to be there. I don't even know why we would even critique him to be there. Like, I'm not all on board with these freaking 100% social interests.
Yeah, no, you don't sound like it. I'm just saying I see why he would be called out, and I don't put him on the same playing field as like the other Democratic senators. Now, other people were there. We do know that, but I don't know, you know, who all was there. But it does seem kind of odd not to. It does seem, you know, it just does seem kind of odd for Bernie.
I mean, at the very least, you could have put something on social media or have his team do it. That's all. But if this was the event that triggered that woman to say all of that stuff, which is stuff that we have already said in this room, that my point is.
Oh, look, it's Ann and my friend the trash.
He said he's independent now or something like that. Like, what that's why I'm like,
he's always been independent.
He's got a YouTube live going right now, and there's like this is like another multi-thousand YouTube live, which is kind of amazing. And I'm just restreaming Patty's
yeah, we got that, but we already know who he
politically
is.
correct room.
Right.
It's hilarious. The comments
Dave
on here are
Francis is a
amazing.
Democrat as well, and Ian King, who's the other independent senator, is from.
But I did a full rebrand. I'm going full Republican. Like I'm getting rid of all the mean stuff, all the terror stuff. I'm rebranding everything Republican comedy, Republican voters, Republican politics, Doge Republicans.
For the same things that you are fighting against.
I'm gonna still,
that could be the bare
pop some
minimum.
terror stuff in,
But
but
in
the
order to make
rebrand
her
is like
point
focusing
as
more on Republicans
credible as
because
possible,
this is
the
like
other
a
Democrats
cultural
that didn't
war,
show up and
essentially.
didn't say anything.
And if Elon Musk is
And if they all did,
conducting a
great,
revolution, I mean, it's a Republican revolution. Because Democrats,
But if not, then we have to see why the others do.
Exactly.
It's a cultural war.
It's a culture war. It's a propaganda war.
Yeah.
Well, I slightly disagree with that because Bernie has advertised himself, even though he's an independent and he goes on his whole like, I'm a socialist Democrat, all that.
I had an experience today with an N-word, B-word.
An N-word, B-word. Interesting.
Yeah, a major N-word, B-word, and it just got me thinking that I think they just complain about whatever it is to try to just get one over on, on the white man, on whitey.
Listen, I encounter people every single day that need to come to Clown House because they are just constantly looking for conflict.
Come to Jesus. Come to Clown House.
It's crazy. Like I meet people every single day that are like intentionally trying to create conflict, whether with me or with other people. And I'm just like, are you completely unaware of the fact that like you're the problem? Like I'm just existing here and I'm not even talking to you. Like I don't want to be your therapist so you can get your dopamine.
This woman said to me, I said like, well, what would you like, or how can I help you? What would you like? And she said, I would like to complain. And I said, okay. I was really appreciating the honesty. Anyway, that's all.
So the comments on YouTube, I don't know if it's Julian from this app. I assume it's him because like I think I directed him to my YouTube, but we're getting all kinds of chatter on this YouTube live now. I think it's the rebrand because I put in there Republican comedy and I got a picture of myself in the Pepe mask with a Trump hat on. So as people are going,
what's the channel?
Let me see. I'll pin the
Republican comedy.
Let me see.
Chicago cheeseburger.
I think it's Republican comedy.
Chicago cheeseburger.
I should have just done Republican from like the very beginning and stuck with it, but I basically wanted to.
Well, that was what Ann was. Remember, it was Republican Ann. That's what it was. It was Republican. It wasn't just Ann. I mean, before she was Ann.
Yeah, Ann, why don't you like drop the creepy guy in the big purple outfit with the giant staff and like just go Republican. Yeah, be like a Republican as opposed to like, whatever. I mean, because, you should run for politics, Ann. I mean, you should run for politics. I mean, I know maybe like intellectually you're not a savant, but does it take a savant for the Democrats? No. It takes friars, liars. It takes, traitors. It takes scammers. They know it's all a scam. So, you'd actually do pretty good because you're not a scammer, Dr. Ann.
So why do I need to drop the PTR?
Because you need to rebrand, like constantly rebrand. I have found that like staying with one thing too long doesn't get you the change that you're looking for. So you have to flip flop and then find the right direction to go, and politics is not going to stop. Like this is just the beginning because Elon Musk is not going to live forever. So, and our government and the way that it's set up is not changing. Like you would think the internet would change the legal, industrial, political, industrial complex. It is not. It has just re-solidified it. So it's a never-ending battle, and it's good to like lay the groundwork now for political fights in the future because they're not going away. The Republican Democrat game is the yin yang game, or the Tao. It's the Tao basically. So it's not changing. The founding fathers were very smart. They knew how to create conflict, to create, action and change. It's all philosophy. Our government is set up on a very good philosophy.
I agree.
It's not a philosophy that many people want to understand or admit, but it is essentially based off of conflict. It's Clown House, basically. Our government is technically Clubhouse. That's what it is. This is the microcosm, and our government is the macrocosm. Welcome, Dr. Don. So we have a YouTube channel that, for some reason, the algorithm gods are giving us blessings today. And this morning I got 2,000 viewers on Politically Correct listening to bad takes. And thus people are writing like, when does the comedy start? I'm like, are you not listening? Everyone here is a clown. Like, did you not get it? Like, this is a reframe. Like, I have been wanting to take the dreck of Clown House and make it profitable. I've been trying so hard, but now I think just the correct frame is comedy. And I think the algorithm likes that because it's like a neutral, almost positive word. So it seems to be working, at least on this one YouTube account, but not so much on all the others. I think a lot of my accounts are just shadow banned, and I get no views and no algorithmic love because I'm viewed as spam.
Well,
You're spam.
all my clubs or my houses are shadow banned.
Don, I don't know if you're trying to come up. Let me try to invite you again.
Yeah, the only like time I ever did that was that phone you sent me, John.
Mm-hmm.
And I started a Snapchat, which I've never had before, and I started like Twitter, I think, and then YouTube, and then I would record rooms for you on that thing, and it just became too much like a damn job. And I didn't want a job.
It does become a job. Propaganda is a job. Creating content is a job. But most of these people on this app aren't even creating content off of what they're saying. And it's hilarious because like every take is a bad take on here. So this is like the ultimate place to collect the opposite and then transmute it and publish it. Honestly, like I love doing this. Like I don't want to work a normal job. I mean, to me, this is like, if I can make this work, I'm doing exactly what I want to do, which is essentially be in media, which is, creation.
Record morons, basically.
I mean, look at Seinfeld.
Executive producer of morons.
Look at Seinfeld, like the most popular comedy show of all time, and it's basically the Three Stooges.
It's literally a show about nothing.
Exactly. Look at Three Stooges, though. What's that show about? It's just about three knuckleheads.
Yeah, nothing.
Exactly. It's comedy. That's what Clown House is. But everybody thinks because our brains are so powerful in terms of incorporating what we're listening to, we think it's more like a tragedy or a drama and not a comedy, but it's actually all comedy.
Honestly, America has, the last 4 years, has been going through a Greek tragedy, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We've been robbed blind. We've been bastardized. We've been legalized. Our rights have been trampled and destroyed. A lot of people bring up the Patriot Act, and they're right. Like, the Patriot Act and the response to 9/11 was the beginning of a lot of these problems, but we have a cultural problem that has come out of all of this. And
The Patriot Act got, cut down by half. Half of it's still there. But the thing that people need to realize is we have the NDAA, the National Defense Authorizations Act.
About to mention the NDAA.
yeah,
that's the one you need to worry. That's the one you need to worry about.
yeah, that's
the
the
one
big
you need
one.
to worry about.
That's the one that has to get cut, because I believe they have to cut Medicare, Medicaid as well.
But according to the NDAA, if you talk about cutting the NDAA, you become an enemy combatant. And thus you are subject to potential imprisonment at Guantanamo Bay. So
And they don't
not
have to tell
talking
you
about cutting the NDAA.
Well, they don't even need to tell you that they took you in front of your family while a black helicopter.
All right, YouTubers, hit that subscribe button. This is Republicans Podcast. This is Congressman Kitover reporting live from the 16th District of Illinois, where we are fighting the clowns. Subscribe now.
Like, they literally bypass due process.
Money is a problem. Unsound money, not backed up by gold and silver, is a problem.
And then, everybody's
Major
bipartisan,
problem. It is the problem, actually.
bipartisan. And then whenever the NDAA comes up for fucking renewal every 4 years, sometime in the middle of the night, Congress got together and they passed the NDAA. Wow, that's amazing. They wanted to keep.
That was Obama.
Dude, they've been doing it. The last time they did it was. When was the last time they did it?
I know, but I remember when it originally came out, I think it was 2011.
No. The NDAA came out right around the time of the Patriot Act. It was a way to be able to go after people in America without due process. Because they were here, and if you were a domestic terrorist or a terrorist that was in our country, it was a way for them to get around due process. You don't even get a trial.
Stupid in different ways. So we are not using the term
drama and not a comedy, but it's actually all.
The National Defense Authorization Act is any series of United States federal laws specifying the annual budget and expenditures of the Department of Defense. The first NDAA was passed in 1961. So, we must be referring to some version of the NDAA.
It got an authorizations, added to it.
Yeah.
I would ask you to look it up. I'm
looking it up. What do you think I am? What do you take me for?
I'm moron.
Here we go.
I'm just kidding.
2012. I was right. You bitch.
That was the last time it was renewed?
No. The last time it gets renewed every year.
It's so funny how it gets renewed every year.
Well, look, the NDAA started in 1961. And go to its Wikipedia page. On the Wikipedia page, it tells you every time it gets renewed, and it says it tells you the provisions that they're changing or including. In 2012,
how about you ask it? Are you allowed to be taken prisoner with no due process under NDAA?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That part was added in 2012. It says it contains several controversial sections, the chief being 1021 to 1022,
which affirm provisions authorizing the indefinite military detention of civilians, without habeas corpus or due process, contained in the authorization for use of military force part.
Well, that's all. That's what I was referring to. I wasn't trying to be like super uber smart.
We agree. I know it's rare on Clubhouse to agree and just be like, yeah, I hear you. That never happens. Nobody's ever like, I hear you. Like, that never happens.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever like, bro, I hear you. But
I'm not Googling stuff. I'm just going by shit that I read that's stuck in my head.
And you're right. And you aren't wrong.
Well, I am wrong a lot. You know, Joe. When I'm wrong.
Now, see, now you're trying
when
to
I'm wrong, I'll tell you I'm wrong. I'm just saying.
All right.
I ain't afraid to say I'm wrong. I'm not a narcissist.
I ain't afraid to say N-word, F-word.
Nobody gets about fuck nigger bitch ass language.
Wait, hold on a second. This is a family-friendly Republican comedy show. F-word, N-word is acceptable, but saying the F-word, N-word is unacceptable.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'll make sure to remember that, to give respect to the mod. I always say it. I don't really give a shit. I'm tired of people fucking making up dumb shit all the time. Like, controlling people's language. That's the most PC bullshit that I've ever heard.
So, do you want to hear more from the clown show?
No. Oh, which one's this?
It's politically correct.
Oh, Jesus, Lord, Mary, and Joseph.
It's Dr. Patty.
Okay.
I don't know.
Scotty, I was enjoying that music you had in the background.
Yeah, they're doing out some old school playlists here.
Is that Donald Jones?
Yeah, girl, you know something.
Say what? Say what? Say what?
Today I heard about the two Venezuelan women that got caught up in the deportation. They were trying to send them to El Salvador.
Also, my words that I'm using on YouTube seem to be attracting views because I'm using terms like comedy and USA and emojis like the USA flag. So plus I have the Israeli flag in my imagery, and I think that's like causing a lot of views actually because people are so sensitive. So yeah, I mean my rebrand is like kind of working, and the YouTube comments are always so interesting. You still talking to that dude? Your integrity is suspect. Are you Jewish? You American must be E with 3 phones. Anyways, welcome back to the ESL hotline for low IQ dumb people that spend all their time talking about nothing, wasting all their time because they're bored, lonely, and have nothing better to do with their lives. It's a comedy show, basically.
Trump Education Secretary Beck Mahone drops into the House Democrat press conference. So she has a press
Doc,
conference.
somebody said you're the white dude on the phone that said the N-word with the hard R.
If you want to listen.
No hard R's here. That was just... That was a slip.
Is it McMahon?
Somebody wrote, Nathan wrote, you are a freak of American nature. I love Donald Trump's
I don't
feet.
like the way she spells her name. It looks like Mahone. Mahone. But yeah, so.
This room has been great today, to tell you the
I
truth.
found it, but you can play yours, right?
Yeah, his racist mind slipped. Somebody wants to see my hairline. What hairline?
You don't need it.
funny that you're in that room, and I won't go in that room anymore. I refuse.
The legal showdown over President Trump's mass deportations. Alleged gang members arriving on flights to
It's like pure oppositional research. It's unbelievable.
who say they were on those plans, speaking exclusively to NBC News. We were lied to. When we arrived at our destination, that's when they told us we were in El Salvador. Hey, Margolia Torres tells us she was arrested by ICE and was expecting to be deported home to Venezuela. Scarlett Rodriguez says she used the Biden administration's CBP-1 app to get across the border. We're from Venezuela. We know that airport. And we were like, no, we are not in Venezuela. Those women say they have no criminal history and are not part of a gang. Consistent with court declarations, she said she witnessed an official push 3 men to sign papers claiming they were gang members. And there was a man who said no, that he wasn't going to sign it because he had nothing to do with that. And the official came and said whether we sign or don't sign the paper, they were going to leave us there. The women are now back at a U.S. detention facility after El Salvador's president refused to take female prisoners. Moya Torres says she's worried about her 2-year-old son left with a relative in Pennsylvania. I'm very afraid because I've always been with my son. There's now a legal battle over the Trump administration's use of wartime powers for some deportations. Just today, the administration said it mistakenly sent a Maryland man to El Salvador, despite an immigration judge's order saying he could not be deported there. His attorney says he was not a gang member. Vice President Vance posted, "This man is an illegal immigrant with no right to be in our country." There was an administrative error. This individual who was deported to El Salvador and will not be returning to our country was a member of the brutal and vicious MS-13 gang. The Trump administration touts its handling of border security, with illegal border crossings now the lowest ever recorded. A new poll just 58% of Americans approve of the president's deportation efforts, but an ACLU attorney says mistakes have been made.
Whoever heard of sending someone potentially for a life sentence to El Salvador without giving them any due process to show they don't belong?
We go to Rodriguez. This is my in Venezuela. Her daughter hoped for a better future in the U.S. Now, the women just want to be deported to their own country. What will you do the moment you see them?
Doc, I'm about to leave.
It's going to be the happiest day of my life, she said. Lester, DHS says they will not comment citing ongoing litigation. Meanwhile, this Thursday, lawyers will argue they did not violate a judge's order by deporting immigrants to El Salvador using those wartime powers.
I'm about to leave, Doc. I'm just letting this run, but I'll be back. I'll be back in like an hour. I gotta go to the gym and work on my gout. So I've set up a Pepe doll in my place. A Pepe doll is now sitting in my chair as I leave for the gym. The Trump Pepe.
His deportation's getting crazy.
I know it's not good quality. Clown house to clown house isn't good.
Yeah, it's unlawful and disgusting, and it's empty. You know, people should be able to try that.
Yeah, especially somebody that might end up spending a lifetime in prison in a whole other country. The dude from Maryland.
Just doesn't look right, does it?
That hasn't done anything wrong, and it's here legally. Like, these are also people that are here legally.
Stupid, huh? I'm stupid. Yeah, I agree. This is comedy. What do you expect?
You wanted to play yours later?
This is so funny.
I'm here. Sorry about that. Microphone check. I'm right. I'm so sorry.
everyone. Thanks so much for coming. And I just want to express my gratitude to all of these folks who came today so that we can have an open discussion about what I believe is one of the most important things that we can have a discussion on or action on in our country, and that is the education of our young people. The best education is that is closest to the child, where teachers and parents, local superintendents working together, and local school boards to develop the curriculum for those students is the best way that it can happen. Funding from the United States government will continue through the programs that have already been established, and I will look forward to continuing to work with members of Congress on both sides of the aisle, and I welcome the fact that these folks came today and expressed their concerns and shared in an open, collegial format.
Can you just ask the question, when are you going to shut down the school?
Well, we've had our discussions already, so thank you all very, very much for coming.
She didn't answer the question.
As you see, she's not answering the question when she's going to shut down the Department of Education. She doesn't have a plan, and while she doesn't have a plan, they're continuing to look at firing people, reduction in rifts, reduction in force, maybe, doing it with a velvet glove, but still has the effect of an iron fist.
Dismantling the department.
Dismantling the department.
Good morning, everyone.
There you go. So, what is it, McMahon? She, this is the wrestler's wife or mother?
What is it, World Wrestling? Or no, what's the, I don't know, it's from wrestling, pro wrestling. Her husband, Jim McMahon, was the founder of all this fucking shit. And they're all a bunch of fucking clowns. Circus.
Well, apparently she just gave a brief message saying how they're going to work together, and she looks forward to working with both sides, but provides no additional information. She was asked, I don't know if you guys could hear it, but she was asked, when are you going to close the building down? She said, we've already discussed that, and took off walking. So, yeah, that's a discussion on that. So it sounded like to me from this, and I could be wrong, that they're definitely going to work with the states and then control the funds that way. So then they can, if the states don't do or cooperate with what is said, by the administration, then they won't send the funding. That's how I see it happening.
Which means they will translation is, if you don't do the curriculum we tell you to do, we're not going to send you funding. Which the Department of Education doesn't, as of, before Trump, doesn't control the actual curriculum. They send money to provide to districts that are doing, that have less money, they provide Pell Grants, things like that. And they didn't touch the curriculum because that's the state and local government that deal with the curriculum part of it. And now the federal government's going to say, here's the curriculum you have to abide by, which means abolishing, certain histories, et cetera, watching history. If you don't abide by that, then we're not going to give you funding.
All right, no additional comments on it. Hey, Leaf, on the Department of Education? If not, Department of Education going twice. All right, sold to the man in the back. Hey, Trent, how are you?
Good afternoon, Trent.
Good. I'm just waiting for the next 5 minutes for.
Yeah. You said 3 p.m. it's going to drop, right? To see exactly what tariffs. This is crazy, man. This is like a football game or It's just like, oh my god.
The bunch of Christians in charge.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And it's bad for business.
Freaky. That's just freaky.
Hey, Trent. Since you are a resident car expert, what do you think? What do you think about Tesla and the pushback against from the customers around the world, and then they drop in sales for the quarter?
So I heard they went up a little bit today because of that rumor that he may be getting bounced out the administration.
What rumor? Wait a minute. What happened? You cut out.
So because of that rumor that Trump may be relieving him or sending him about his way, I heard the Tesla stock went up a little today.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So he's so to ML. Yeah, he's stepping down because of Tesla. The market share loss